My name is Brian and welcome back to Desert Theory. Well, we have an exciting night here out of the shop. We're getting closer to race time. You can see Kelly, he's been cleaning up calipers, tie rods, they are gone. We're gonna put new Heim joints in them. So they're over on the counter. We're gonna head over here. We got a lot of stuff, look at this. Fortin steering rack. Kelly got this thing pulled apart the other night. We have our Heim joints that we've ordered for the tie rods. Demonic Injection sent us our brand new injectors. Can't tell you how happy we are to be working with them, and they sent that. And everybody knows Black Rock Performance, our title sponsor for the year. They sent us all new Hawk brake pads. So we noticed our brake pads were getting low, and that's what started this whole thing. We said if we're gonna have calipers off, we're gonna do the brake pads, we're gonna check the tie rods, shook those. Heim joints had a little bit of play, so obviously we moved to the rack and took that apart. Everything looked great, but we did rebuild all of the bearings in the rack. Kind of cool story on this. So this is one of Fortin's first racks, and what they did is they pressed this needle bearing in right there, but then there was no good way to get it out. So luckily Kelly's a machinist. He talked to them. They told him how to measure and then machine down here. So it really came out cool. We put a plug in there, not the coolest plug, but it's the one that Kelly had at the shop. Push that needle bearing out, push the new one in, and now the rack's ready to go back together. So lots of parts here, obviously. So Kelly and I better get to working. We got to get those injectors on, front end put back together. Lots of fun stuff happened tonight. So Kelly and I are here just talking, and we're just admiring the work that Jimco did. This is the front piece that holds, well, it's a lot of strength for the front end. It's where the front A-arms tie in, but it's also where the rack sits. And it's just a neat piece. It's really cool. What do you think, Kel? What's a machinist think of this?
It's a beautiful piece of art. I mean, it's very well designed and looks really cool.
Okay, so kind of as Kelly starts to reassemble this thing, we were just talking, and we were listening to Off-Road Racer podcast, and on that, Dan Myers was talking. He did an interview, and we decided he was talking about a car that we kind of knew. It was around the time that they owned this. So we always talk about the McMillan team, McMillan family owning this car, but the Myers family also owned it. So we called up Dan and got a lot of information on this car. So cool. It started out as a Class 10, and the first year they had it, they raced the Baja 2000. The Baja 2000 took place in the year 2000, and instead of being the Baja 1000 like normal in 1,000 miles, it was in the year 2000, and it was 2,000 miles. Well, this car right here, it won the Baja 2000 in the year 2000. So the car's a little bit older than we thought, but a little bit more history than we thought. It is a Baja Class 10 winner overall in the class. So overall, they did pretty well too. So, but it was a Class 10 winner, so pretty neat.
Yeah, and I guess that's still the longest nonstop race that they've done is that Baja 2000. So that's really cool. That's a lot of race miles.
A lot of race miles. It had a Toyota motor in it at the time, and I don't remember what transaxle was in it.
Yeah, I don't remember. He said that they had 50 miles of testing on the car. That was all. It was brand new. They just barely got it done in time to run 50 miles of testing and go race the Baja 2000.
And Dan was the last. He drove the last leg, and they won by 14 seconds. They knew they were close, so Dan was really pushing it. But it was awesome to hear his stories in our car now, his car then. And so it was just really a neat time. Desert racing is such an awesome community. And when you can call up the longtime racing families, the real champions of our sport, and talk to them with a little channel, a little team like we have, it kind of shows how family oriented, how humble people in this sport are. It's pretty amazing. We're damn lucky to be part of this sport. Okay, so before we put the pinion in, Kelly's going to run just a little bead around here of caulking or the right stuff. And what that's going to be is just a seal for water getting in there. You kind of see we're going to push a bearing right up to it. Okay, so we got the rack grease. Now Kelly's going to put the slider down in there. Ooh. Fortin just makes nice stuff. Like every time we put it together, it just works like it's supposed to.
That is nice. That's really nice. Okay.
And remember, this is a rack that was probably on this car in 2000.
It was.
No, Dan Myers raced it. McMillan's raced it. Brent Miller raced it. And we've raced it. So just good stuff, quality parts. And now don't get me wrong, this shock, this hydraulic piece is going to take, that ram is going to take a majority of the force, and that's why we have it. That saves that rack for sure, and that's what provides power steering. So, but that's just as old.
Yeah, and I asked the guys at Fortin about rebuilding that, and they're gonna send me a kit to have on hand, but they said they're the most trouble-free. If it's not leaking, don't touch it. And I'm like, wow, okay.
So pretty amazing. I think even on the phone, I could just see Kelly's like expression. We were both like, what? So pretty cool parts. It's that if you buy something nice the first time, it really does pay off a lot of times, especially in racing. And now it's time to put the ram on. So we're gonna start that right now. Now this is pretty tight engineering right here. You see how close these
shims,
little shims go around here. They barely fit.
Yep, so that kind of goes around there. That is tight. It goes. Okay. Okay. That's right, Brian?
Yep.
Okay.
So now we have
I think we
two
got-
bolts here, bolt here, and back to two here. So lots of little bolts to get doing here, and we'll do that.
Boy, that's a nice fit. Do you hear that
Yeah.
pop into place?
Okay, so we got the rack back together, and now all we have to do is safety wire these. So we did torque everything on here. We didn't show you because it's not that exciting. So, but the rack looks great, all back together. Safety wire, tie rods, kind of start working on some of this other stuff here. We are ready to reinstall the rack. Kelly's gonna hold it up here. There are 4 bolts. So we have these 4 bolts on the outside and then 4 bolts on the center. And on the back side, where the steering shaft comes down, we have to get that splined shaft on there, right on that right there. So it's gonna be a little bit of a fight. See if we can get a decent camera angle for you.
Yeah, what do you think? Is that gonna work out okay back in there? No.
I will try not to block everything with my hands, but there's no promises. Okay, so
Okay, so before we get this thing in there tight,
we have to get that.
let me just kind of get these bolts in there so it's hanging on that.
And there's no keyway or anything, it's just blind on there.
Yeah. Is it on? Feels like it went.
Sorry, that was my bad.
Is it on?
I think so.
Okay. Oh man.
Everything's easier when you do it the second time. This is our first time on the steering rack. So when we go through here, we set all of this up dead center because it looked real nice when we were doing it on the bench. But now you can see that this lower bolt doesn't fit, and neither does that one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these caps off because obviously with both those caps, this ram's gonna be hydraulic. So we're gonna loosen both of those, and then we're gonna move this one way or the other. And our nice clean rack is
Should grab another towel.
no longer gonna be clean.
Oh, it'll have a little fresh oil on it. Maybe we'll see if we can keep it from making too much of a mess. If it's difficult, just let me know. And
Yeah, hope I got that coming over. Here, Kelly, on the arm. Right here. Yep, got it.
got it.
Coming over.
That's yep. Okay, stop. Just stop there.
Stopping.
Let's just put this one in because that's gonna put oil everywhere if we keep going.
Okay.
It's a
So this is such a tight fit that even though our top bolts aren't tight, we're having to kind of thread that one in there. It's awesome. It's a Fortin product on a Jimco car. You don't get more quality than this.
we could hook those hydraulic lines up, and then it's not going to pump oil everywhere.
So, Kelly, it would have helped if we would have thought of that about 30 seconds ago.
I know.
Okay.
But we're just getting too race-faced.
A little bit race face, but I think more than that, I think that it has to do with, it's the first time we've done it. Everything on this car, we just get faster every time we do it. And this is the first time. So we're not that fast. We're kind of doing some dumb stuff. It's also, Kelly and I have our normal jobs. He's a machinist. I'm a power lineman. We put in our 10, 12-hour days. We go home. We help out with the family. And then at 9 o'clock, we come out here. I run back to my house and get some camera equipment that I forgot. So we start at 9:30. So there's some mistakes that are made out of the shop.
Hey, Brian, have you talked about when we're racing next?
That's a really good point. And we were talking about it earlier. So it's awesome we're bringing it up right now. Our next race is the Warrior 275. It is a 275-mile race. And it's part of the Legacy and Vora combined Nevada Championship. So it's new this year. It's a 3-race series. And we are so hopeful that it kind of brings cars from Vora and Legacy together. Now in the first Legacy race, there was 14 Class 1s racing, just like our car. Unlimited open wheel buggy. So we're really hoping to get that 15 plus car count for a race. And that will be the most Class 1s we've ever raced against. Connor McMullen, whole bunch of fast guys are going to be there. It's going to be just a blast being in that field of just excellent drivers and cars. So beyond excited for it. Legacy and Vora working together. We're beyond excited for that. Two great organizations that are doing the right things and growing. So we feel incredibly lucky to be part of this.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you mentioned it, but it's coming up in June. Did you mention the dates?
I didn't give any dates.
Yeah, so June 7th through the 10th is the race, 7th through the 9th. Anyway, it's going to be a great weekend of racing. They're going to do 2 days of racing, Saturday and Sunday. So they'll have a limited race and an unlimited race, and it'll be a lot of fun. So we're really looking forward to it. It's coming up quick, but we're going to get this car ready to go and go see what we can do.
Something really cool about that is with the limited and an unlimited race, that means the car count's so big that they have too many cars to fit in one race. So we're going to be able to video the race, go out on the course, watch this thing, and it's going to be really a blast getting to see that, film it, put it out on a video, and then go race the next day. So beyond excited for all the things that are happening this weekend. Yeah,
that's a really good point.
Cool.
Yeah, that's fun. It's really cool because, like,
Yeah, I didn't think about that. You get to watch racing on Saturday and then go racing on Sunday. For us and for other people, they could race Saturday and watch us on Sunday. So yeah.
And if you haven't figured this out by now, Kelly and I love off-road racing. We live in a spot where it's not very easily accessible, so getting 2 days of racing in a row is pretty amazing. Kelly, how's that going? You almost got that second bolt in?
almost in. We're working our way in there. So then we're gonna leave these all loose, and then we gotta work on those fun ones back inside there, Brian. There's 4 more 3/8 or 5/16. Yeah, these little 3/8 bolts.
So you can see the selfie stick in the camera. It's hard to get back in there. That is not going to be easy to film. Our hands are going to cover up all the work. We're going to do a little time lapse here, and you'll just probably see 2 frustrated people trying to get those bolts into the back side of that. Kelly was putting the tie rods that I put the new Heim joints in back on the car.
Yep, so we got it tied up. We just loosely put that bolt in on the rack, and then we'll work on this side. It has these high misalignment spacers that allow that uniball to rotate quite a bit more. So
what that's going to do is allow it to get more travel up and down. Like on a normal car, you don't have 20 inches of travel, so you don't need those. That just gains space from this to that.
Yep. And it allows this recessed cut here allows this to twist a little bit more. So yeah. So let's see here. Oh, backwards.
Okay, so when we started today, we were so optimistic and we said we were gonna get to injectors, we were gonna get to tie rods, we were gonna get to brakes, and we're gonna get the rack all in. Well, I just looked at the clock. It's always a bad idea to do that. It is 1:15 a.m.
Oh boy.
We are not gonna get to the injectors today.
Oh.
But, man, what a fun night.
It has been fun. Productive.
It didn't help that I forgot my camera equipment at home and had to drive home and get it. So at least 25, 30 minutes was lost on me there. So guys, we're gonna put this camera down. We're gonna get the last of our stuff cleaned up. We're not gonna do anything else tonight, but what an absolute blast we had. Kelly and I love this. The hours of work far exceed the hours of racing, especially for us and our smaller budget team. But Kelly and I wouldn't trade this for anything. We love this car. We love racing the desert. We love BRP 4x4 for sticking up for us and standing up for us and sponsoring us. We love all of our sponsors. We just can't thank you enough. None of this would be happening without you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.